Mike's Daily Podcast.
FF episode 1578. Welcome to Mike's Daily Podcast, located somewhere in Podcastro Valleymont at the last place on earth. Today, Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. I got a big show for you today. It's going to be big. It's going to be full of Mike being full of bravado.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
That's right, because I believe in myself. I believe that I am the best thing that ever lived.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
To those of you tuning in, you might not get the joke, but I'm not usually like that. And that's, I guess, something we can learn. Fatness runs in my family because we like to eat.
They're going to eat cookie.
But now I think I'll just be sweet, and I'll find that Napoleon Dynamite thing where he says,
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Sweet. Oh, good. That worked nicely.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Mike's
So that's what
Daily
this show is about,
Podcast.
is you.
Yeah.
You. I need you in the morning when my head's on fire. I got no one around. I need you. I went to SFMOMA over the weekend, San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. I have not been there since, I think it was one of the last things that my then wife and I did before the divorce. Yeah, so it was kind of a bittersweet time, because you know when a relationship is about to end, you sense that things are not going well. You can smell the rain. That was a great song by Black Hawk. There was a group called Black Hawk, which, if you say that wrong, you can really say it wrong. And they were a big country band in the early 90s when I first started doing country music. And that's when I said, hey, I can do country music. I like this sort of stuff, this sort of music. And they had this song, let's see. Oh, well, first off, let's say hi to the wonderful people. Hi, Mark, it's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How you doing?
That's a disgruntled fiddle player, tell you what.
What?
Black Hawk was a great band.
And here's today's podcast picture.
A country trio with Henry Paul, Van Stevenson, and Dave Robbins.
Who I actually had the chance. Sadly, Van Stevenson died probably in 2000 or so. Yeah. And I got to meet Henry Paul and Dave Robbins. Very nice guys. But their big song was Goodbye Says It All. But this one, I Sure Can Smell the Rain.
I'm scared she's gonna say. And every night I thank the Lord. Somehow I got to know that one more day.
Oh, that was such a great song. I Sure Can Smell the Rain. Oh, yeah, this was their first big hit. No chance of redemption. No reconciliation. No. Just a big red goodbye with lipstick on the wall. Goodbye says it all. And they had this cool part in the song where they all kind of harmonized.
No, let's talk it over.
Right here.
Says it all.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a different time. Gosh, that was over 20 years ago now. And where were we? Oh, the podcast picture today. I have to tell you, I'm going to post a picture sometime this week from SFMOMA. Ah, crap, I got a call. Hold on.
Later that day.
Latina Uzi.
Awesome.
Mike, you want to join in on this conversation? You can join in. You can.
Well, what happened there? What happened? I got a call from the guy I work with, and because we got chewed out last week, the longest lecture ever about the history of radio, and Marconi played the mambo, listen to the radio, don't you remember we built the city on rock and roll? It has been dotting our I's, crossing our T's, making sure every little minutianic thing is running correctly at my work. So he's like, hey, is everything okay? I'm coming in. I'm a little bit late. Da-da-da-da-da. So we're just being super careful. So that means my podcast will be shorter. But that's okay, because we're going to get to some fun things. But I did want to tell you the podcast picture is of Basil the Boxer and I when we was at this place called Benicia. And Benicia is this town, little seaside. Well, it's not seaside. It's bayside. It's on the bay. Interesting thing, I always like to talk about Benicia. I don't live there, but I went there as a child because my mom's best friend, Helen, because back in the day, all of our grandmas, that was my grandma, all of our grandmas had a friend named Helen, because everyone was named Helen, or someone was named Helen back in the day, but she had a daughter that lived in Benicia, and so my dad and I would go up and visit her sometimes. I don't know if my dad had a secret crush on this daughter, but I know we went up, and I know that the daughter of the daughter, who was around my age, she and I once got in a car that she had bought with her babysitting money, a used car, kind of I don't know if it was I forget if it was a Camaro or Trans Am, something like that, some cool looking car. And we drove with some friends of hers into San Francisco. And that was the first time. I had been to San Francisco when I was a kid, but I had never gone as a teenager. And she showed me the downtown Fisherman's Wharf area, and it was just the coolest thing. And we were blasting George Michael. Back then he was in a band called Wham, and she was all into Wham, so she was playing the Wake Me Up and all that stuff. Somebody told me. So that's what we listened to, not Black Hawk. That was not that era at that time. So that was a fun time. And so Benicia holds some great memories. And now that it's only less than an hour away from my house in Podcastro Valley, Mont, I like to go up there and I take my dog Basil the Boxer. And there's some cool places, like he can run on the beach. And right there on the beach, I got a picture. And the guy who took the picture of me, his little beagle, or no, that's a basset hound, came up to look at, and Basil's looking at the basset hound. I'm looking at Basil. It's a great picture. Check it out at mikesdailypodcast.com, because all these fantastic pictures are there, as well as where you can help out the show through the PayPal, mikesdailypodcast.com. Also, buy some stuff on Amazon. I recently bought some underwear on Amazon. Amazon underwear. Amazonian underwear. And I can't wait to show it off for you. I will not. Don't worry. I won't. But we all need underwear, and why not get it off of Amazon? So I went through that link at mikesdailypodcast.com. But here's my little anti-plug to Amazon is do that Google shopping first, because you can find some really cheaper prices than Amazon doesn't always have the best prices. Which leads me to my next topic, which is, I know some of you watch movies on the Amazon Prime thing. Some of you watch Netflix. I've been talking about how I stopped watching stuff on Netflix. I canceled my Netflix because I was watching stuff on YouTube. Well, the means of which I was doing this was I attached my laptop to my flat screen. And this podcast is all about giving you special little technological techie tips. And so you just get an HDMI cable, attach that to your laptop. Most laptops, all laptops today, have some kind of HDMI cable attachment. You attach that to your flat screen, bammo, you got a wonderful, clear HD experience. And I was watching these great HD videos from YouTube with Lucy Worsley, who is this beautiful British woman who doesn't sound at all like the way I'm trying to sound at this time. Oh, here she is.
Stewards. In 1737, Prince Frederick's wife became pregnant. What he should have now done was tell King George and Queen Caroline so that they could make preparations to be present at the birth of their first grandchild.
Is that not the best voice ever? The birth, preparations. Oh, just the way she talks. She's this little blonde that is around my age. She's married, though. Wah, wah, wah. key is that trumpet in? The key of annoying. God. So the Benicia. I love Benicia. I love going there. And now my laptop has crashed, so I can't watch the videos of Lucy Worsley. And that's sad. So, son of a... Hey. What
is this?
Mike's Daily Podcast. So, back to the show. Let's get the show started, as Greg Proops would say. I went to San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. I got to see some Andy Warhol, that crazy, huge. Those pictures are just huge. They're in size, grand. They take up walls. The thing about this museum is it's all, I think, white background, every room, so that, the art pops that's in there. And so the bathrooms, however, are all painted in these crazy bright colors. I went into this one that was this green, but it was the most unusual green. And the tile was green, and the walls and ceiling were green. It was all green. And then I went into another bathroom later, because I drank a lot of coffee that morning, and it was all blue. But it was like a blue, like a kind of like almost like a purplish blue. And, well, I guess that would be purple. Or would it be blue? I don't know. It was weird. It was just so, It's
130% true.
Blue. So, what I enjoyed my experience, Lichtenstein is the guy. He would take comic books and blow them up really big so you saw the dots that make up the color in the comics. And he would make commentary with that. So they got some of his stuff. And then Rauschenberg would do a lot of found object stuff. Kind of that stuff where, hey, I got a plunger. I took it out of the bathroom and I stuck it in a museum, in an art museum. Look, it's art. He would do that kind of crazy stuff. And he had this goat that he found, a taxidermy goat from a thrift store, and he put a tire around its waist. And I remember reading about this art piece when I took a modern art class back at UCSB. And there it was! It's right there at SFMOMA, so I got to check that out. And it's 7 floors, and if you got a library card in the Bay Area, they've got this thing called Discover and Go, and you can get free tickets to museums on specific dates, and so I got in there for free. I had a pair of tickets, but I didn't know anyone who would want to go with me. And if you wanted to go with me, you should have called me, 336MM Daily, because I go on Mike excursions, and this would have been a fun Mike excursion. 336MM Daily to call or text. Texting charges apply, whatever that means. Hey, so I joined a 30-day step challenge, and yes, this show is very rambly. I ramble all over the place. Ramble on, sing my song. I'm not Led Zeppelin or Robert Plant, but I can sing. I'll try to. I'm part of a 30-day step challenge. Wow, with 15 people in Vitality, and if I pass this, I guess Wait, I'm supposed to drink protein shakes? No, not for me. Don't like those. Yick. Ick. Back to the show. So we had stuff happen over the weekend. I guess we're going to go and meet with Kim Jong-un. I'm hearing, so I talked about how communication's important, but now I've got all the liberal side. Okay, the liberal side is all saying, there's all kinds of protocol involved, and this should have been planned months and months and years in advance, decades, centuries in advance, and this should be planned, and Kim Jong-un isn't to be trusted. He's crazy. He's nuts. No one should sit down at a table with him, because doing so gives him credibility, and we don't want to give. So we don't communicate at all? Is that the deal? I don't get it. We're supposed to take steps forward. I don't get this. So Putin ordered a passenger plane to be shot down in 2014. This according to Time magazine, which, by the way, I don't have time to do it today. Possibly next show. I pulled a time as I was riding BART into San Francisco to go to the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. I was reading some old Time magazine articles from 2015. One of them basically kissed the back end of Harvey Weinstein so much. It was just, Harvey Weinstein's the best guy ever. Oh, but to hear him talk, he's just sort of an aw shucks kind of guy. Just totally giving this dude the credit he does not or ever deserved. And, it's Time Magazine. It's people like that keep crazy idiots like that in power. And it drives me nuts. I'll have to read you a little bit of what it said next time when I find it. I have it buried in my stash of stuff here at Café Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valleymont. Café Anyway. Anyway. As we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, a passenger plane reported to be carrying a bomb to target the opening of the 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics was ordered to be shot down by Russian President Vladimir Putin. He said in a new film that came out yesterday, in the 2-hour documentary titled Putin, the president said that before the opening ceremony was due to start, he received a phone call from Olympic security officials saying a plane carrying 110 people had been hijacked, Reuters reported. The report was a false alarm and the plane was not shot down, Putin said. So, there. Next show, we'll have the wonderful... Hey, we didn't even say hi to the Brewmaster.
Hello, Mac. I make the delicious root beer. Would you like some?
Bring out today.
It's right here. Let me pour it for you.
I don't know why that guy walked by asking for us to bring out our dead. We don't have any dead, hopefully. No one dies today, but we know that's not a possibility, unfortunately. But live life to the fullest is what I'm saying. And enjoy your day and all the minutia and everything else going on in it. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Shelley Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Benltey. That's who it'll be.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye. Bye.